Hello, barnacles. Guess who's working the graveyard shift at the Krusty Krab again? That's right, me! Mr. Krabs said he needed someone trustworthy to keep the fryers warm and the ghosts out. I laughed, of course, because ghosts aren't real, right? Well, at least I thought they weren't. At first it was fine. I was singing my cleaning song, "When the grease gets low, you gotta make it glow." Then I heard it, a soft click, like the sound of the cash register opening. But I was across the room, and the register drawer was moving. Slowly, it opened, closed, all by itself. I laughed nervously. Nice try, Mr. Krabs. You can't prank a prankster, but the drawer stopped. And then, in the reflection of the shiny metal, I saw myself, except it wasn't me. His smile was wider, his eyes were darker, and he was standing right behind me. I turned around, nothing, just empty booths, and the sound of the ocean above. I tried to shake it off, but every time I blinked, I saw flashes like broken film reels. Old, grainy versions of the Krusty Krab. The walls looked older, the signs said things like Yoda Patty Shop, and there were people inside. They weren't eating, they were watching, all facing me, all smiling. I dropped my spatula, it clattered on the floor, and echoed way too long. "All right, SpongeBob, stay positive," I said. "You just need a distraction." So I started cooking patties again. Flip, sizzle, flip, sizzle. Then I noticed the patties weren't sizzling, they were breathing, each one pulsing slightly on the grill, like lungs inflating. Then one of them whispered, "Stay after closing time." I backed away. The smoke rose into faces, each puff of steam forming someone I knew. Patrick, Sandy, Squidward, even Mr. Krabs. Their smoky mouths moved, but the only thing that came out was that same line, "Stay after closing time." I ran to the door, pulled it open, and there was me, standing outside, smiling, holding a spatula. "Hey, SpongeBob," he said in my exact voice, "your shift isn't over yet." Before I could move, he shoved me back inside. The door slammed and locked. I banged and yelled, but the glass just rippled like water. I turned around. All the furniture was gone. The floor was sand, and the walls started melting. The ceiling lights flickered until everything turned black. Then I heard them again, that echoing crowd, the old customers. Their laughter filled the room, but it wasn't funny laughter. It was the kind of laughter that sounds hungry. I ran toward the kitchen, except it wasn't there anymore. Just an endless hallway, lined with dozens of Krabby Patties, each one whispering that same line in perfect unison. "Stay after closing time." I screamed until my voice cracked. Then everything stopped. I was standing at the register again. Lights on, everything normal. My mop leaned against the wall. The grill was off. The cash drawer was closed. I laughed nervously and checked the time. It was 3:02 a.m., shift over, except when I tried to clock out, the punch card was already signed by me. At 3:02 a.m., and at the bottom of the card, written in red ink, it said, "See you tomorrow night." I ran out of there faster than a jellyfish at a rave, but when I got home, I saw the Krusty Krab hat still sitting on my table, the one I took off before bed, except this one was wet, dripping seawater, and underneath it, a single Krabby Patty, still warm, still breathing, and as I stared at it, the grill sizzle started again, even though there was no grill. Then I heard my own voice whisper from the shadows of my pineapple, "Stay after closing time." You ever notice how quiet Bikini Bottom gets after midnight? Like, too quiet. No bubbles, no boats, no snoring from Patrick's Rock. Just silence so thick it makes your brain echo. I was closing up the Krusty Krab late. Real late. I mean the kind of late where even the grease on the grill looked tired. Mr. Krabs had already left. Squidward had vanished hours ago. He said something about escaping capitalism forever, whatever that means, and it was just me mopping. Slosh, slosh, slosh. Then I realized the sound wasn't matching my mop strokes. I froze. Slosh, pause, slosh. It was coming from behind me. "Patrick, is that you, silly?" I laughed, turning around. You know I don't like hiding. The dining area was empty, except all the chairs were facing the door, every single one, and they were wet. I looked down. There was a puddle forming under them, dark and thick like ink. I backed up, holding my mop like a sword. "Okay, SpongeBob, deep breaths. Maybe someone spilled." Then I saw them, tiny bubbles, dozens of them, floating up from the puddle, and inside each bubble, a face. Not happy faces, not funny cartoon faces, silent, wide-eyed, screaming faces. Before I could blink, the bubbles popped, one by one, whispering things like, "Too deep, no surface, don't listen to the tide." I dropped my mop, and that's when the bell above the Krusty Krab door rang. Someone had come in, but the door never opened. The sound just echoed, again and again. Ding, ding, ding. I turned the open sign over just to feel better, but it didn't say closed. It said, "Come down." The floor started breathing. I fell to my knees as the tiles warped like jelly. The ground turned clear, glassy, and beneath it, I saw water churning. Thousands of hands were reaching up. Fish hands, human hands, things that shouldn't have hands. They clawed at the surface, desperate to come through. I screamed and ran for the door, but it wasn't there anymore. Just the kitchen, endless kitchen. Grill after grill after grill, stretching forever. Each one had something cooking on it. Patties? No, they were faces. Squidwards, Patricks, Sandys, all burned onto the metal, their mouths moving in silent, searing pain. Then through the smoke I saw him, a customer, sitting at a booth, perfectly still. He was huge, round, grayish blue, like an anchor come to life. His face was blank, no eyes, no mouth, just skin. He tapped the table with one thick finger. Tap, 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 tap. And from his chest, a gurgling sound rose like a deep ocean vent. "Serve the tide, SpongeBob," it said, "or drown in it." The lights flickered out. When they came back, I was outside, standing in the middle of Bikini Bottom. But there were no buildings, just sand dunes. And the moon was sinking into the sea, fast like it was drowning. The ocean around me was boiling. Patrick's rock floated by, half melted. The chum bucket was upside down, and the Krusty Krab was underwater. I could see it down there, glowing faintly red, hundreds of feet below. And through the glass, hundreds of me, all working, smiling, flipping patties. Each SpongeBob a little more melted than the last. They all looked up at me and waved. The tide rose higher. I couldn't breathe. My lungs burned. I looked up one last time, hoping to see the stars, but there were none, just bubbles. And in one of them, my own face. It smiled and whispered, "Shoo, it's quieter this way." Then the ocean swallowed everything. I woke up back in my pineapple, safe, dry, sort of. But when I looked in the mirror, my reflection didn't move with me. It just smiled and whispered, "You still hear it, don't you?" And yeah, I do. Every night, right before the tide comes in. Okay, diary, let me set the scene. It's a perfectly normal night at the Krusty Krab. Greasy air, flickering lights, the faint smell of old pickles in despair. Ah, the scent of success. Mr. Krabs was counting money in his office. Squidward was complaining about existing. And me? I was flipping patties like a champ. That's when the lights flickered. Now that's not unusual. We get electric jellyfish storms sometimes, but this one felt different. The light went red for a second, then back to normal. I blinked, and my spatula was gone. I looked under the grill, under the fryer, even in the fryer, nothing. Then I heard it, clink, from the freezer. "Hey, buddy, you're not supposed to be in there." I giggled and opened the door. The freezer was empty, but my spatula was lying on the floor, perfectly still and warm. That's not normal. When I picked it up, I heard something whisper. It said, "Flip me again." Well, that's easy enough. I'm a fry cook. I flip for a living. So I went back to the grill and gave it a flip. The patty landed perfectly as always, except it made a sound when it hit the grill. Not a sizzle, a scream. I froze. My square hands trembled. Maybe that was just ketchup pressure. I flipped another one. Scream, then another. Scream, scream, scream. The air filled with them. Hundreds of little voices shrieking from every patty. I looked up. Squidward wasn't at the register anymore. Just his hat, sitting there, still warm. Then the lights flickered again and turned red for good. Every patty on the grill began to move. Slowly, they wiggled like jellyfish. Then they grew eyes, big greasy burger eyes. They all looked at me at once. "Flip us again, SpongeBob." I screamed louder than a bubble wrap pop convention and backed up into the fryer. It hissed, but no oil came out. just black smoke that smelled like burned laughter. That's when I heard footsteps behind me. I turned around. It was Mr. Krabs, but not the Mr. Krabs I know. His shell was cracked. His claws twitched like he was counting invisible money. His eyes spun in circles like coins. "Boy-oh," he said, voice gurgling. "You've cooked too long under the night grill." "The what now?" "The grill that never cools. The one that feeds itself." And right then the grill lifted off the floor. The patties slithered toward me like little meat slugs, sizzling and whispering all at once. I grabbed my spatula, who was, might I add, still whispering, and I ran. I burst out the Krusty Krab door, but Bikini Bottom was gone. No ocean, no lights, no jellyfish. Just one massive red glow stretching in every direction. Everything was floating. Fry baskets, cash registers, a lone pickle spinning slowly in the air. And in the middle of it all, a giant grill. Hundreds of Krabby Patties crawled toward it, chanting in little sizzling voices, "Flip me, flip me." I clutched my spatula tight and yelled, "You're all undercooked in the head." Then I swung. The spatula burned bright yellow, and I smacked every patty I could. They popped like grease bubbles, shrieking, vanishing into smoke. When I reached the giant grill, I saw something move behind it. A shadow, tall, square, familiar. It stepped out and I realized it was me. Another SpongeBob, but charred black, eyes hollow, smiling wider than a clam could dream. "Welcome back, SpongeBob," it said in a voice that sounded like burnt toast. "You're the best fried cook in every dimension." I screamed, I flipped, I ran, and fell through the floor. When I woke up, I was lying on the kitchen floor of the Krusty Krab. Everything was normal again. Mr. Krabs was snoring in his office. Squidward was rolling his eyes. I laughed. Just a dream, right? Except my spatula was warm again. And when I flipped the first patty of the day, it whispered, "Perfect flip, SpongeBob."